Guys, let's get to our other primetime game, and that was on Sunday Night Football as the Patriots beat the Bills 23-20. And before I get any of your analysis on this game, I got to give a quick shout out to our recurring guest, Kaz Johnson of Kazzy Bear TV, or formerly Kazzy Bear TV, now of Just Casually, because we do our weekly picks, and he initially said Bills, then he walked it back and said, give me the Patriots instead. I think New England pulls off the upset. And while he may not have been a perfect 15 of 15 or whatever the amount of games was, he nailed that one. And so shout out to Kaz for that. But Kevin, what were your thoughts? that's so Kaz, just casually. But Kevin, the Patriots beat the Bills 23-20. Just how did you feel about this one?
Coming off a game where the Bills, essentially scraped by the Saints late, I knew that the Patriots would give them some trouble. 3 turnovers in the red zone, you're not going to win any game, no matter if you're playing Monterey Trail High School or the New England Patriots. 3 turnovers in the red zone is hard to compete with. Stephon Diggs, 146 yards, 10 catches, most former Bill that was traded away to play against the Bills. He had the best revenge game in history against the Bills from a previous Bills player. Only one of 2 receivers in New England Patriot history to have back-to-back 100 yards with Edelman. So he joins an elite list. This Patriots team might be legit. Drake Maye might be that guy. Like Shaun mentioned, when Caleb Williams was in college, Toddy said he's the best quarterback in this class. If he went with CJ and Price, he would have went number 1. Is it Drake Maye? Is it Jaden Daniels? Is it Bo Nix? You can name a lot of names before you name the dude in Cleveland or in Chicago. But for Drake Maye in that second half to go 13 of 14 with 184 yards, just dissecting the defense, making play after play after play when the Patriots needed it most. They look like Tom Brady and Randy Moss out there. But the Patriots are a good team. We talked about it when the Texans got DeMeco Ryan. Getting a formal player, not only a former player, but a player that played in that franchise and knows what standard the Patriots need to be at. He's keeping those guys accountable. Last week in a press conference, he said Diggs isn't feeling he's not comfortable with the offense 100% yet. And he said, well, do some more fucking studying. And then he comes out, 185 yards, 10 targets. So Stephon Diggs is showing that he still might be a top guy. He could be a number 1. They brought him in there to make Drake Maye's life easier because before that it was Pop Douglas. Dion Butte. So to have Hunter Henry, so to have a not a true number 1 because his injuries, but if he could, continue like he's had the past 2 games, the Patriots now have a true number 1, and it's going to be nice to see, how far they can take this. Now, am I going to overreact and come on here and say the Patriots are going to win the division? Absolutely fucking not. Can they make the playoffs? Who knows? But Drake Maye is definitely in a place to succeed, and they're like with Trevor Lawrence, they're putting winners around him, winners and that bring a winning culture. So the Patriots beat the Bills. It came down to the last-minute field goal, and they were able to get it done. But like I said, Josh Allen having 3 turnovers in the red zone is not going to get it done. Josh Allen is known for his turnovers. It's always been a problem. But when you have a quarterback that, does all the things that Josh Allen does, a lot of Bills fans kind of just nod it off and say, well, he is the MVP, so why not? So Patriots look good. Bills look bad for the past 2 weeks. Just want to pat myself on the shoulder. I did say they would be the last remaining undefeated team. And because they played at night, they were the last undefeated team. So, Kev knows ball.
Nicely done. Kev knows ball. Maybe you should take the Ball Knower University fantasy football team name from Jaevon.
Negative record. I don't want that.
Oh, all right. Well,
put up 106 points this week. That's just
he had Justin Fields 2 points. Justin Fields comes to Kevin's house. Hey man, we treat our guys good over here.
You back in the club, Kev? Back in the club?
Until Lamar gets back, I have no choice. But once Lamar comes back, he's going back on the waiver, and the next guy can happen. So the next 2 to 3 weeks, I got a tentative parking spot. Like a handicap for a couple months. That's me. I'm just here for a couple months.
He's got a permanent handicap, or he's got a temporary handicap.
Temporary handicap. Yeah. So I'm just here for a little bit. Here for a good time, not a long time.
There we go.
as the founding president of the Justin Fields fan club, I'm going to have to adjust the membership to weekly now because monthly even seems too long at this point. But we'll check. Yeah, we'll check back in with Kevin in a couple of weeks. But Julian, this is another upset in the AFC as the Patriots beat the Bills 23-20. You mentioned that you called it when it came to the Jaguars, but were you on top of the Patriots in this matchup as well, like Kaz was?
Coming into this game, I didn't believe the hype for the Patriots to come out this game defeating the Bills. It was a little sloppy last week with the Bills. They barely got it done versus who did they verse? They versus the Saints. They got it done at the end, but coming into this week, I really didn't think that the Patriots were gonna get it done. Drake May looks nice. Drake May looks like he can be a quality quarterback going forward in the NFL season. And Josh Allen throwing picks in the red zone is definitely not going to get it done. It was a crucial drive that he threw a pick to, I think, Mac Jones in the near the red zone. Hold on. But yeah, coming off an ACL injury for the Stephon Diggs to have 10 catches, and he still looks nice. He still looks nice. He still looks like that guy. Fantasy team dropped me 21 points. Can't complain about that. Got me the dub at the last second. So going forward, he looks nice, and I feel like this Patriots team can definitely sneak their way into the playoffs. Maybe as a 6-7 seed, 6-7, but you never know.
Oh, set himself up for that one.
Yeah, sure.
I was aiming for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, you threw yourself a lob off the backboard on that one. But Jaevon, as Julian just noted, Stephon Diggs is able to come back to Buffalo and get his revenge with a win. Stephon Diggs was the last guy to enter the Patriots locker room as he was standing out there on the field. We know those photos of Stephon Diggs that have been trending in the past of after the Bills lose in the AFC Championship game, he's standing on the field staring at the Chiefs celebrate. Well, this time he stayed on the field, and it was a good reason why he stayed on the field. Then he comes into the locker room, and Mike Vrabel's waiting for him. They go nuts. They celebrate this win, not only for Stephon Diggs, but this is a big division win for the Patriots because, as it was noted on the broadcast, the Patriots owned this rivalry against the Bills for a decade and a half with Tom Brady at the helm. And the Bills have had a grip on it over the last 5 years. So now the Patriots are saying, hey, we're going to make it competitive now. Jaevon, what were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, early on before the game, they asked him, how big is this game, what this game means to you. He keeps saying it's a little personal because the Bills traded Diggs away. It wasn't like he left or anything like that. They traded him away to Minnesota. Or was it Minnesota?
Didn't he go? Didn't he start in Minnesota and then he got traded to Houston?
He got traded to Houston. They traded to Houston.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
So I mean, obviously, it was personal for him, and just going into the game, he was pretty absent. I'd say throughout the season, didn't really hear too much from him. Drake May was still trying to get sea legs under him. Having Josh McDaniels as a coordinator, just trying to get acclimated with the offense and just get his legs under him under the new offense and see what it's like. I do think this was a statement win for the Patriots because the Bills were favored to win the AFC. A lot of people picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl. So, I mean, to come into this was the last Bills Sunday night game in that arena. I don't know if you guys know that because they're building a new stadium and then they were doing a whole bunch of stuff. I forgot who was doing something in the beginning of the game for Buffalo, but this was their last game in that arena for Sunday Night Football. As far as Drake May goes, I thought he played his ass off. I do think they may or may not have a fumbling problem at running back with Ramondre Stevenson. It just seems like every week he's fumbling the ball. Don't know why they're not wanting to put Travion Henderson into the game. Vrabel just refuses. I saw a meme. It was they said there was it said Mike Vrabel, play Travion Henderson or fight a cow. It was a guy fighting a cow. So
it just doesn't make sense, Jaevon, because Mike Vrabel is an alum from the Ohio State University, just like Henderson. Get the man in there. He's a fellow Buckeye.
So, Bills were obviously favored in this game by 7.5 points, so a lot of people were high on the Bills. Patriots, sneaky. I don't know if I'm ready to climb that ladder and say they're going to make the playoffs, but this was a huge, huge win for them. Drake May's pretty good. I think when he looked a lot more poised, he looked a lot more comfortable. This was his first nationally televised game. So this is kind of like a coming out party for him. A lot of people are like, hey, Drake May might be passing the torch. A lot of people were kind of comparing him to Josh Allen. Not going to start climbing on that ladder yet, but he played very, very well yesterday. I was impressed for them to get a 3-point win in Buffalo last night. So hats off to the Patriots. And I don't know if you guys saw Stephon Diggs was dancing to Young Boy in the locker room at the end of the game. That was awesome. That was so cool because you just everything that came with it and the emotion and him. A lot of people are saying he's a diva, and you kind of hear reports about him and how his teammates love him in New England and how just involved he was. You could see how he was on the sidelines. And people like kind of try and compare that to what he used to be when he was in Minnesota, when he was in Buffalo, kind of just screaming at people and blah, blah, blah. And it just seems like he's a little bit more involved on the sidelines, just trying to pick people up and just trying to just encourage them. And just he really won this game. So just to see him dancing in the locker room, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, throughout a lot of this offseason, the talk about Stephon Diggs wasn't related to anything he was doing on the football field. It was related to his relationship with Cardi B, and it was related to his relationship with other women. And so I'm just glad to see that people are talking about him on the field again. And as Jaevon was saying, he's really providing that veteran leadership. And my biggest takeaway from this game came off of the field, and it related to Drake May's college, because Drake May is shining on Sunday Night Football under the national spotlight. And still, for some reason, the North Carolina football accounts on social media had nothing to say about it. Drake May is emerging in the NFL. And then a report came out this morning that apparently Tar Heels head coach Bill Belichick has said, I don't want you to post anything relating to the New England Patriots on any of our handles. So therefore, Drake May went from UNC to New England, and he can't get any recognition from his alma mater because Bill Belichick is hella petty. That's my biggest takeaway from this performance. And as Grey Wolf notes, the Patriots are currently the 7th seed. So that is also something of note. They're not quite 6, but they are 7. As we keep things moving here on episode 161 of Stats Over Politics, Shaun.